Hello and welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all. Welcome to BuildCon 2025. This is our fourth year running this, and we are so happy to have you. So, this is going to be a weekend where you're going to go from an expert to an entrepreneur, where you can go from all the ideas that you've been working on to launching your first digital product this weekend. So, make sure you let us know in the chat where you're watching this from, what you're working on, and we'll go from there. We see Joe in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to be getting started, and this is all about you taking action. So let's begin. And by the way, you'll have links to all of this. You'll have also the slides and all of the prompts if you join the community, and I'll have all of the links in just a little bit, and that's going to be totally free. So let's begin what we're going to be doing this weekend. Again, we're all about taking action. So this weekend changes everything. You came here tired of learning without earning. You'll leave with a system that generates income while you sleep. So we're going to be looking at that and really making sure that this is going to be something that allows you to take action and to be able to form whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to use AI, use a chatbot, create a digital product, we'll talk about all of those things. Joe, you're from Boston. I love it. I'm from New England. Love to see it. Okay. So let's begin on what we're going to be looking at this weekend and all of the different steps that we're going to have. So we'll go through the 5 steps. We'll talk about identifying your one problem solution. We'll look at extract. We're looking at your proven methodology, what makes you special. 3, structure, crafting your digital product. 4, validating. We'll talk about pre-selling and before you build and what that looks like. And then 5, launch from expert to entrepreneur. So we're going to go step by step, making sure that this is actionable and to make sure that we're getting to your Zakia. Also looking forward to this. Love to see it. Love to see it. Okay. So the first one is we're looking at the expert's dilemma. This is you. Uh, they pay for your brain, but you're trading your life. So maybe you feel like that. Let me know in the chat down below. Maybe you're working at a job, you're already skilled, but right now you're not seeing a clear path how you can make this into your own product or your own service. So, what do we need to do? Now that we already see that your dilemma, you already have the expertise, we need to do something about it. We're going to be looking at your one problem solution. So, what you'll learn, how to extract your most valuable expertise and identify the one specific problem you can solve better than anyone else. So, let us know in the chat. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're an executive and you work with marketers. Let us know where you are to understand your expertise. And we're going to be using that to bottle that to see how we can start making a difference and making sure that we can have a product from that. Okay. So we're starting with the one problem solution. Let's go into the first starting point, what we need to do. And everyone needs to think about this. We need to look at your superhero origin story. So every expert has a defining moment. What's yours? So this really allows you to package your idea, package your expertise. But the best way to do that is it's got to be a story. It's got to be a way for people to understand what makes you unique. Everyone has a unique story. What's yours? So what I want you to do is think about your origin story, what made you go into this field and how you're impacting people. For example, for myself, I come from a non-technical background. I come from the healthcare space and I wanted to start building applications. And there was nothing that I could find online where they could just speak like a normal human. And so I wanted to start creating content for myself to learn how to build apps, but also I wanted to show others how you can use no code tools and now AI to use your expertise, what you love, and now build an application without coding. That was my story, right? So I came from healthcare, did all those things, and now that's my impact. In the comment section down below or on a piece of paper, make sure that you write down what is your origin story, what makes you special. What are you an expert in? Those are great things. Okay. So then we have the origin story. Next, what are we going to be doing? Well, we have to first write down all of the different expertise or different things that we have. So, like we said, we have an origin story for who we are, but just like, say, for instance, Batman or Superman, there's tons of different superpowers, but you want to focus on one clear identifying mark that can be associated with your expertise, right? So, we do a lot with operations, we do a lot with building businesses, all those things, but what makes us special? We talk about automation and AI to help people. For you, you're going to write down your expertise. Maybe you've done tons of things in your life. Maybe you've been a waiter before. You've been a lifeguard. You've been a life coach. You can go on, list. Write down first all of the different activities or things that you have done, but then we're going to really focus in on one or two specific superpowers that you have. Let me know in the comment section if that makes sense or if you would like to see examples. Okay, great. I'm seeing some comments. I'm just looking at different platforms. Okay, some people are saying public speaking. Okay, that's great. What else do we have? Okay, being a math teacher. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so we have all different types. Yep, keep putting them down, put them down in the chat or write them down on a piece of paper as we go through this. Okay. All right, let me move this. Okay, now that we have our expertise and we have an audit, we're just going to write it down and I'll show you in a Notion doc what we do in a second. But we have this right here. Going to be looking at the next portion, the one problem rule. Why solving everything means selling nothing. So, what we're looking at right here is so many times people are trying to say, well, my service or my app or my digital product, it's going to be able to do everything for everyone. The problem is it's too generic. It's not laser focused on your target audience. We've got to pare it down. We've got to focus it. Okay. Also, too, Clayton saying insurance compliance. Okay, very interesting. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we're thinking about the one problem rule. Who can we help or what situation? Okay, so model right here, and we're going to go with the example I help target audience achieve outcome without common struggle. So that's going to be our format of what we're going to do. So I help. Who are you helping? Who are your target audience? So Clayton, you mentioned like insurance compliance. Or who are you helping? Who's your target audience? And what goal are they trying to achieve? And what are they struggling with? Okay, so this is the format. Screenshot it, and we'll look at this. And again, we're using all of this to be able to build. If we're going to be using um, vibe coding an app to help people, if we're going to be releasing our first product, we've got to first get this down so we know who we're talking to. Okay. I want to see what you come up with but let's go for an example real quick. Okay. So for Doc Williams, one problems statement, I help experts and overwhelmed consultants launch their first profitable digital product without getting stuck in analysis paralysis or complicated tech setup. Okay, so that's where I'm coming from. By the way, my wife did these with Mid Journey. If anyone wants to see how we leverage AI and we did all these slides, more than welcome to talk about it. AI is a wonderful thing. So I just had to do that shout out real quick. But if we're looking at that, my one problem right there, I help experts and overwhelmed consultants. That's my target audience. Experts, ones that are already really, they already have expertise. So I'm not helping ones to discover or think about new skills. I'm helping experts already. And then also consultants, they're already having some kind of business or some kind of momentum, and that's who I'm helping, right? So I help experts and overwhelmed consultants launch their first profitable digital product. Now, the digital product, a lot of times, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you've been on the list for a while, it's usually a no code tool, but really we're not too concerned about it has to be launching an app first. Sometimes it's a digital download or digital product using Notion, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But really think about who I'm talking about, what I'm going to deliver, and then what's the common thing that people are getting stuck on. They're getting stuck with analysis paralysis. They're thinking about too many tech tools. They're thinking about all of the different overwhelming effects of like AI, or they're not confident with setting up the tech, or they feel like I have to code it. So all of those things are packed into this sentence. And if you want me to show you, we just put this into ChatGPT, or you could use Claude or whatever you want to use, but this allows you to do this. So if you want me to go through this example of taking this and showing you how to do this with AI to help you, let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, so remember, think about yourself. The example, I help target audience achieve outcome without common struggle. Okay. Mine, I help experts and overwhelmed consultants launch their first profitable digital product without getting stuck in analysis paralysis or complicated tech setup. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's go into the one problem solution. Now, what you learned. Well, first, we looked at how to extract your most valuable expertise and identify the one specific problem you can solve better than anyone else. Number two, the action gained. You have clarity on your unique expertise, angle, and exact pain point for your first digital product. The product you will solve. No more analysis paralysis about what to build. Okay, so that sounds great. You're like, oh, that's great, Doc. But like, how are we going to do this in practice? You're showing this. This looks easy. How are we going to be using this? Well, again, we're going to now leverage AI to help us through this process. Okay, so let me know in the comment section down below if this makes sense, if this is helpful. Let's take a look here. Okay, let me change this. Exit full screen. All right. Okay, so let's go with this first. So I'm going to take my target, our statement, our problem statement, what we're going to be doing. Let's go to chat real quick. All right. So I'm going to have this here. All right. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from text to speech. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to go step. So let's go with origin story, my superhero origin story first. I'm trying to create a origin story for my new digital product that I'm selling. I want to create a origin story or background of my expertise and how I came up with who I want to help and what my solution is. Okay, so I'm just using Mac Whisperer to go from audio to text, and so these different AI tools and these things, it helps me with my dyslexia and my severe ADHD. So I have that, right? So I'm trying to create an origin story. What I'm going to do first is ask me questions in order for me to create my origin story. Now, this is the key. If this is one thing, if you leave and never listen to me ever again, the one thing that is a huge unlock when you're using any kind of GPT is asking the system to prompt you with the questions. So instead of me trying to think about all the different things, I can just say, ask me questions in order to create my origin story. The same thing you can always do is ask me questions about what I'm trying to accomplish, and then it will give you a set of questions, and then the output will be so much better. So this is the game changer to add to the prompt. Game changer to add to any prompt to ChatGPT. Okay, putting that in the chat. Okay, cool. Cool to go here. Let's go through it. All right. So the first part is right here, and this will help you to gain your origin story. So it says, got it. Let's build your origin story step by step. I'll ask you questions in different categories so you can give me the raw material. Then I'll help you shape it into a compelling narrative. Look at this. It's doing all the work. So this is really just a therapy session that you can go with right here. So we have personal background, the solution, mission, and vision, right? So I can literally take this. And if you want, I'll put this in the chat or in the community. Let me know if you're doing the challenge. But let's go straight. Let me know in the comments section if this is helpful going through this and showing the outputs. Let me know if I'm going too slow or if this is helpful. Right. So we have this right here. What's your professional background or personal experience that connects with this product? I'm a non-technical founder that helps people launch their digital product. Let's say I come from the healthcare space and I'm severely dyslexic. Always had trouble coding. All right, so that's giving a little bit more flavor. Yes. I was trying to create an application and I talked to a developer that was trying to charge me over $25,000 for an MVP. I didn't have the money and I needed help fast. Right? So that's giving us a background of what's happening, all of those things. Okay. Did you go through a struggle, failure? So, as you can see right here, we could finish up and do all of these different activities. And now we have our origin story that we can have. The same thing that we can do with our expertise audit, we can use ChatGPT and just say, hey, these are all my skills. Please help me work through them or rank what gives me energy or how skilled I am. That way, it will allow you to audit exactly where you need to go, what you're thinking about, how you can really make sure that you're zeroing in on um, the right kind of offering for yourself. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense. All right. Next up, that's where we can go into that problem statement once we have everything done. And then we're going to see the output. Let me know if this makes sense. Okay. So let's finish up here. Personal, audience. Who are the exact people you want to help? Experts and consultants. Frustrations, tech overwhelm, and analysis paralysis on how to get started and what tech tools to use. Okay, so I have that. How do you relate to those struggles? Have you experienced them themselves? Yeah, I've felt it myself, and trying to build my company was very stressful, or how to break out of the 9 to 5 and create my first side hustle. Okay. What gave you the idea of this product? So the product that I'm doing is teaching people how to launch their first digital product. So it's like um, it's expertise in the box, or it's your skill in a box. So how did the idea come up? So you gave that. What gave you the idea? The idea came about when I was. Let's see about this. Actually, I think it was using Blue Apron and looking at recipes. I think that's what it was actually. Yeah, was cooking at home during the pandemic and using Blue Apron and looking at the instructions how to make a meal perfectly with instructions. Let's see about that. Was it something you noticed in your work or something you kept asking for? After I saw the instructions how to make a perfect meal, I thought about all of the times of my consulting clients or the community where it was the same questions or the same framework over and over again. I wanted to create a template of how someone could sell their first product of their expertise easily. Okay. Okay, so we have that, right? It's not perfect. We see some grammar problems, but it's okay. It will clean it up. Did you test it in a small way before making it official? Yes, I tested it with one of my students, and they were able to make $6,000 in the first weekend. Okay, solution in simple terms, what is your product and how does it solve the problem? It's a step-by-step blueprint how to turn your expertise into a digital product to sell. What makes your solution different than others? This has been battle tested. We've done this protocol with over 300 students. And most importantly, it is focused on non technical entrepreneurs and experts. Okay, so we have that. What are the one key transformation or outcome? The student can go from having a skill to now having a digital product that they can sell. Okay, we're finishing up just a few more questions. Let me know if you want me to go faster or skip over things. Beyond just solving a problem, what bigger mission drives you to do this? I want people to be able to impact their community, be able to have more freedom with their life, and being able to have an impact on the world. What kind of impact do you want your product to have on your audience or industry? I want my audience to have more optionality, to be able to build the brand that they've always wanted to, and to have more freedom. Okay, so we have that. If someone uses your product successfully, what's the bigger picture of how their life or work will change? They'll be able to have more free time to discover what they want to do and be able to connect with their target audience or their community. Okay, cool. So that was a lot, but now that we have this, it's going to be able to give us clarity right here. So, right here, it gives us our origin story. I've always been passionate about helping people, brings their ideas to life, but I've never been the tech guy. I came from healthcare world. Being severely dyslexic meant coding was always a uphill battle, right? So it's giving me a very basic overview and something that's concise that I can use on my homepage, on all of my different things, my marketing. I have who I help. Now I focus on experts and consultants, right? The spark, the inspiration. So then we have the inspiration or the moment of how I created it. Then we have the solution. We have mission. So we have all of this broken out right here, and it even offers, hey, do we want to have a 90-second story script? So you could even use this as a trailer on a YouTube channel. We can do this on, on a marketing pages. We did all of this in less than what, 10 minutes on this exercise? Okay. If you want, you can go through and have the expertise audit. You can just ask and say, "Hey, I'm trying to figure out my expertise or what my superpower is. Ask me, my skills, or I'll tell you my skills and help me rank them on what I'm most passionate about." You can do that as well. But now let's go over the one problem. So what I can do is I can go back. Mike, I wonder if I'm back here. Story. Let's see if this works. I lost connection for a second. Oop, tech problems. Let's see about this. Did I just lose connection? Hold on one second, everybody. Always when you're doing live streams, do I have every I've got people. Okay. Joe, it's still working. Thank you. Making sure that I'm not losing too many connections. I'm shutting some other windows. It looks like I am going a little bit too slow. Sorry, everybody. Hold on one second. Let's close some windows. Let's make sure that we have everything good. Move that. Sorry about that, everybody. Coming right back. Okay. There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to use the sentence right here. And then I'm going to say, now that you know my origin story, I want to create a format of who I help. Look at the following format and create it for my unique use case. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to say, here's the format. Okay, so now I'm getting multiple different ones, and it tells me direct and clear, freedom focus, mission driven, transformation focus, right? So we have I help experts and consultants turn their skills into profitable digital products without the tech overwhelm or coding headaches, right? I help non technical entrepreneurs launch their first sellable digital product without wasting months stuck in analysis paralysis. So this can really help if I'm not sure I'm on the right track, but I don't know how to talk about my expertise or what I want to sell. This really dials in exactly what you can try to do. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense. So we just went there. Okay. And then next up, if you look at it, so let me present again. Right. So we just went through all these activities and look at the outcome that we had right here. Right. So we have something very similar. And that's what I did. I went step by step, asked it to prompt all these different things, and then we have this going. Okay, so that's how you can be using this, using AI to leverage to use this almost as a thought partner as you go through this to really, instead of feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you're just all in your head, you can be using prompts, you can be using AI to start going through step by step with this. Okay, so let's talk about what we gained right here, right? You've learned how to extract your most valuable expertise and identify the one specific problem you can solve better than anyone else. That's what you can do right now. Action gains, you have clarity on your unique expertise angle and the exact pain point your first digital product will solve. Remember, your first digital product. You don't have to have the be all end all digital product. You need to have one clear one to be able to start. No more analysis paralysis about what to build. Okay. So let's talk about your assignments before we go any further and start taking action. Number one, I want you to write down your origin story. I want you to write down who you save, who you help, and then record it and to send it to two people. Now, that might seem scary, but the more you practice on telling your story, sharing it, now you're going to be able to connect to the right audience to go from there. Okay. So let me know in the comment section down below what you're trying to work on, who you're trying to connect with. What does this look like? Okay. And this will help you to start finding the right path and the right kind of digital product that you're going to be building. Now, we're going to go into different tools that we can be using with vibe coding. We're going to be looking at a preview of the type of tech that we use for the product. But let me know what you're working on right now, and this would be really good. So let me get you also the link to what we have. So let's go a little bit more. So you might be saying, well, this is great, but how can I connect with other people or get feedback? Well, right now we actually have the BuildCon 2025 community where you can meet your weekend lab partners. You'll be able to get feedback on all the things that you're trying to build all the way through. So again, I want you to be here live with us to make sure that you get everything that you need, but you can actually be joining the limited community right here during the weekend to start taking advantage of this and to really move it forward of what you're trying to do. Let me get you that list right now so you can join. Hold on one second. There we go. Let me put it in the chat. If you haven't joined already, make sure that you go into the link down below and then you can actually join for free in this space to start getting feedback on what you're trying to do. Okay. Now, hold on one second. We have that. We have a guest star coming up, which is awesome. And we're going to go through some tech, and then we're also going to be talking about content, how you can start doing this. Look at this. Speak of the devil right there. Look at this. The Poly Innovator right there talking about is great. It's great to see you here. We're going to be having a guest star in a little bit, but we'll be talking about this. Let's go through this and again, make sure that you have this. Remember, what are we doing Saturday? And we're going to be having a build session. So now that we know what you're trying to build, where you're trying to go, we'll talk about the exact products or the exact type of platform we could use, like Lovable or Notion to get started. So again, tomorrow we build and we're going to start going from there. Let me know in the comment section down below if you need the link, if you're ready to start. Now, because this is a special presentation, we're going to talk about tools and workflow as well. So we said, who do we need on this platform? Who do we need to have as a guest star? Well, we can only have the very best come in for you because this is a special time. So we're going to be bringing up Dustin from Poly Innovator. Dustin, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is great. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, what do you think about the new branding? We have new pictures, we have new branding over here. We're trying something new over here.
I always like it when you expand your palette and try something new, so I'm really happy for you. I think it looks good.
Thanks, man. So, real quick, as we go into this, please, could you tell the good people a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of talk about tools and workflow and all that kind of jazz, man.
Yeah, so I'm Poly Innovator. That is my personal brand. It's my name. Don't wear it out, or actually go ahead. That's fine. So when it comes to content creation in general, it's something I've always nerded out about. I've always spent a lot of time with knowledge management, but I got into that because I was trying to create a ton of content. And was actually writing about it just this week where, over the course of the many past, well, actually, past decade, actually, at this point, I started creating more and more content because I wanted to organize all of it anyway. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, what are we going to talk about today? We always kind of go off on tangent. We have a podcast together, but we'll make sure we keep this on the rails for the most part. I was thinking about tools and then also workflow review. What would you like to do first? Would you like to talk about your methodology and how you view about content, and then we kind of talk about tools for a little bit? What do you think?
That sounds good. I think tools are kind of more helpful once we talk about why you would need to use tools in the first place, too. So I think in the context of people building something out, whether it's like a Notion template or some sort of product they're building out or service, there needs to be a sort of marketing arm to that business. And I think that's an angle we could take.
Okay, awesome. I think that's great. And let's talk about first. Some people might, feel apprehensive. They're an expert. Maybe they haven't put out content before. Could you
Mm.
kind of just talk about simply like the benefit of why should experts even start thinking about putting out content into the world first?
Everybody who finds you will probably be able to tell from talking to you that you're an expert. But finding you is the key part. And even in person, in real life, they may not know that angle about you. When I tell people I taught something for a decade, they're usually like, whoa, I didn't know you did all that. I didn't know you did this or X, Y, and Z. And that is your reputation at kind of a fault there. They don't know that reputation about you. Marketing and creating content is about establishing what your reputation is online. And so the more content you put out, the more chances people can see that side of you.
Yeah, Great, great, great. Let us know in the comment section down below. Are you creating content right now? Are
Mm.
you working full time and you've been thinking about pressing send on that first email or publishing your first blog post? Let us know where you are in the process of creating that. Okay, cool. So I see the point. We need to
Mm.
start being discovered. People need to know about us, all of those things. How do you view content? And let's frame it. Your What advice would you have for someone just getting started? What should they be thinking about?
I think that I'm pretty agnostic when it comes to the type of content you make. Whether you're making a blog post newsletter, which can be one and the same, you could just write a blog post and send it out as a newsletter. That's fine. If you want to just be in the written word, if you feel better on camera and you want to make videos, that's great too. Or if you want to start off with podcasting to kind of, it's easier to make a whole bunch of podcasts and talk without having the issues of editing video, right? So some people might want to build a podcast to basically create an entire year's worth of content ahead of time if you really wanted to. But in general, you pick a format and then you start getting the reps into it. I've been talking about this a lot lately where you have to put in 100 reps before you even know what you've done right or wrong for the most part. Obviously, you'll learn along the way, but 100 reps to 300 reps, I think, is the range where a lot of people actually start to make a lot of headway when it comes to compound interest.
I love it. Okay, so 100. Now, you might say like, man, 100 sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
How do you structure that? 100, like how fast? How do you view going through that process?
I actually was working on a series recently about the creator equation, and one of the things I talked about there, which I'll give you guys a heads up on, it's not actually released yet, so you guys get kind of a little sneak peek of it. You get a slow track, a fast track, and a super fast track. And depending on how much you are working as a day job plus your business, both, you might not have as much time for the super fast track, but you could probably get away with the fast track if you will. So let's just quickly go over what those are. The slow track is just doing one a week over the course of a year. That's 52 posts in a year, and that's pretty attainable for most people to do, especially if you need to like delay it one day, like you normally do it on Monday, but you decide to do it on Wednesday instead. That's fine. And then the fast track is more along the lines of just doing 3 posts a week. And you could try to go ahead and do like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, consistently putting it out every week. And by doing 3, then you now have 156 posts in 1 year. And so you get to that 100 posts a lot quicker. Now, for some people, let's say you have a lot of time or you're really dedicated to making this content brand grow so that your business can grow faster, right? And it could be 30 days, 90 days, whatever. You do one a day for the course of either 3 months or for the whole year, regardless of the time scale. It's up to you. But in that case, you get to those reps a lot faster. You get more content to repurpose in later on to reach even more of an audience, and it can be a lot more accelerated.
I love it. I love it. Uh, and to your point, you're saying that it doesn't really matter. Just pick a format that you like. How do you say, for instance, someone might be like, I don't even know what I don't like. Would
Mm.
you suggest they do maybe try to write 5 blog posts and then do 5 videos or see how they feel? How can they start breaking it up? What would you think?
I think 5 is a good number, but I would honestly say 30. Like, instead of getting to that first 100, like, you might do 30 videos and decide, I really don't like being on camera. I'm going to focus on writing instead. And so you pivot. And then after 150 blog posts down the line, you realize, I need to go back to doing video too. I'll add that in. But you realize that writing's more of your angle of operation that you prefer. And so you do like 30 videos. Maybe let's say you do 3 a week. So it only takes like 10 weeks. And so it's not that big of time commitments. It doesn't have to be that big. It could just be 5 or 10, but the numbers don't necessarily matter as much. It's more about putting in enough effort to actually know. If you know after 5, that's great. If you don't, give it another 5 weeks, something like that.
I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. So we see the point of, as we're talking about our origin story, and also too, I think this goes hand in hand. If we're even just thinking about, okay, where do I start as a blog? Your first
Mm,
blog can just be about yourself. It can be your
yeah.
origin story. Just copy and paste and bring that. That's your first piece of content to introduce yourself to the world.
You and I did an episode on the brand doctors where we literally listed out 100 ideas for like what your first 100 posts could be.
Yeah, yeah. It's just having the structure, committing the time, and then being able to do that for sure. Okay, so we're going to, and I see some people are asking about, okay, the tech stack. Yes, we'll talk about the different things in a moment, but let's talk about before, when we were prepping for this part of the show, you mentioned a equation, and that kind of is on
Mm.
brand for the launch labs and everything like that. Could you kind of talk about your equation of what you think about content creation and going from there?
Yeah, so that's actually the series that I was referring to where I came up with that fast versus slow track. And the idea behind the series, or not the series, but like the actual equation itself, is that you have strategy plus automation times execution equals success. So that once you can establish that strategy and really focus on how much you need to get out or quantify, I need to get this amount of post out because there's a certain amount of topics I want to talk about around my brand, around my business to really kind of set that concrete layer down that you are an expert in this field. And then finding the right automation tools to help you fill in the gaps of what you might be missing, maybe reach other platforms you didn't necessarily put too much thought into, like Pinterest, but you still want to be on there. And then how hard are you working? Again, like the tracks I was talking about earlier, or maybe you're putting a lot more effort into the business versus the reps of content. And then that'll equal your success, right?
Yeah, that is awesome. And say that again. I'm writing notes down. I want to put it in the chat. Do it again.
So strategy plus automation times execution equals success.
Plus automation times execution equals success. I love that. Great format. It's a great thing to think about. Putting that in the chat. Make sure to highlight, star that. Think about that as we're going to be going through that. Okay. So we've been talking about the strategy. We've been talking about all these different things. I think it's natural for us to kind of talk about the automation or the tools that we could be using
Mhm.
to start this weekend and kind of going from there. So, we do this quite a bit, and we'll have links to our podcast as well that we have. But let's go with this. We're talking about automation or tools. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first on, like, let's do 2 to 3 tools that
Yeah.
we could be thinking about this weekend for our process?
I think I'll go first because there's 3 tools that come to mind. You already know probably what I'm gonna be saying, but there's a reason why I make this my tool stack, especially right now, considering the meta of how much you can reach. And whether or not you agree or not, I think it'll be helpful for the audience to know. And even if you don't choose the tools that I mentioned, there are alternatives to them. So the first 3, like the tools that I'm talking about here are New Link, Substack, and Opus Clip. Not necessarily in that order, but just like those are 3 tools that I use to disseminate across many different platforms and allow myself to have this octopus-like approach.
I'm gonna go for the different links right now. Could you kind of give
Okay.
an overview? Let's go with Opus Clip. I'm gonna get the other ones in a second, but as we have it, could you kind of
Yeah.
give the audience a little bit of a background what these are?
So Opus Clip allows you to take your long form video and chop it up into many different clips. It says 10 on the website. It's way more than 10. Even for my shorter videos, I usually get at least 12. And for the longer videos, like an hour long, like we're doing today, that will give you like maybe close to 25 even. And so it's an interesting thing of chopping it up and reformatting it effectively, because a lot of these other copycat tools after Opus Clip came out, they don't generally do as good of a job finding the clips or even reformatting the clips into, let's say, right now on the screen, you're right above me and I'm right here. That's a format you can have on TikTok. And not all the tools do that well enough. They don't always necessarily frame it right. And that was my big deal back in 2022. And then when this came out in 2023, I was really behind on repurposing all my interviews and all these videos that I had. And I wanted to reach across TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Pinterest, whatever platforms were taking videos I was posting on. And yeah.
That's wonderful. And then could you kind of talk about Substack?
Yeah, so I pushed you on this because I've been looking at Substack for the last 5 years. I use Ghost CMS as my main website, but Substack has such a unique perspective and angle that I really kind of thinking that it's a good automation tool. For one, it has the Substack notes, which means you have a social network built into it, so you can actually kind of grow just internally, right? And that's kind of nice. Where when you start posting, when you start sharing to notes like the Twitter feed on there, then people can start finding your stuff through the platform itself. And you can find people who you follow on other platforms on there as well. And then on top of that, every time you make a video, like if you posted this video to the actual Substack today, it'll take the video, post it to YouTube automatically for you. You do have to change the thumbnail manually, but besides that, it'll push it all the way over there. As you can see here, you have Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the idea to income. Every time you make a video or audio post on your Substack here, it'll post to that podcast feed. And then it also does find some clips for you. So if you can't necessarily afford OpenClip just yet or other clipping tools, you can at least get away with having a few clips from Substack. It's not the greatest, but it does generally find decent clips when it works.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And then
It's also one of the main writing platforms. So you can start collecting that email list and making blog posts.
there we go. Yeah. I'm very new to it. Obviously, you can see it. Dustin's been pushing me
You
on this,
got to change the
so
theme.
I'm working on it. Give me a second. But yeah, we're working on this, and again, we're testing it out. We're seeing what it is. But again, use tools that work with what you're trying to do and try to connect with people. What was the third one that you were going to go with?
Nuelink, new link.
Nuelink. Okay, cool. Got it. Bringing it over. Cool.
So Newlink I found to be the best social media management application. And mind you, I've been looking at this kind of stuff for the last decade, actually more than a decade, because I started blogging back in 2013 or so. And I was looking at RSS, the social media automation tools, even back then. And I found that like tools like Deliverit or Social Boo, and especially Zapier, they just would not be like stable enough or have enough automations to really balance it out. Newlink allowed me to actually have a ton of automation set up. So every time I make a video across multiple different channels or a podcast or a blog post, it'll automatically post out for me across half a dozen different platforms. On top of that, they also have a bulk upload. So now when I make a whole bunch of clips in OpenClip and I don't want to use their scheduler built in, I can just bring it over to Newlink and bulk upload on there.
I love it. Okay, so again, I'm dropping some links to everything. Some are affiliate links. Please support the channel. But these are all different ones that you can check out. New link, Opus, and then also I just put a link to my Substack. But you can, of course, use that to take a look at it and then create your own as well. Okay, cool, 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 cool. All right. So, what were, and thank you for sharing these. We're going to be talking about them throughout the weekend and all of those things. And by the way, Dustin being our guest, we always help the guest out. We were putting new link with his affiliate link as well. Excellent stuff. Um, make sure you support and
Your
check
tools?
out everything that Dustin's doing on his channels too. By the way, drop the links of your where people can find your YouTube channel.
I'll just
If you,
focus on the Substack.
well, yeah, whatever you want. Yeah, you focus on where you want to go. Okay, so I'm going to give a few of my tools that I like, and then we'll kind of talk about it. And then let us know in the comment section down below if you have questions, because when we go into building, we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. This is just a preview and kind of our thoughts of what we're using. If you're looking at this, a lot of these tools, because obviously AI is so big now, I, for the most part, am not going to be picking a tool that is outright AI. It's usually using that as some kind of, how can I put it? It's going to be associated with it, or better yet, it's also going to just be baked into the product. So, what would I pick? The first one I'm going to pick is the script. I use this as my editor. And really, if I'm creating like talking head videos and really walkthroughs, this is really easy. As quick as it is to edit like a Google Doc, you can edit your video. So this helps you be more effective and to go. I use this quite a bit in my process when we go through this. The next one that I use is Lovable. This is when I'm creating prototypes or something where I want the application to look good. It's not totally fleshed out. I can still use Lovable to scale, but I'm looking at modern designs. And also, I think one of the highlights of Lovable would be the community. It is almost overwhelming when you go into their Discord and people are willing to help. This probably sets Lovable apart from other contemporaries like Bolt or others. I think Replit might be more complete, and we can talk about that later tomorrow if anyone cares. But this has the most flexibility. The community is insane, and I just keep raving about it over and over again. By the way, Erica, great to see you here. great to see you here, and thank you for all the support and letting people know about BuildCon. Erica, as we're going through this, let us know too if you want to be on the hot seat for tomorrow or if we want to do an interview. And if you need help with anything, creating a pitch or what you're doing, please let us know in the comment section what you're trying to get out of BuildCon 2025. The other thing too, I would like to mention, this is one of our sponsors that we use, but we use Cloudways quite a bit, and this might be as you're trying to think about having an online store and going from there. This is what we use to really scale. They have something called a prepathon that's coming up in the next couple of days next week, which I'm like, go to all the free online events, learn from people, learn from experts, but they're doing something really smart where you're going to be able to see how to take action and build your e-commerce store. This is something that you could do long term or as the next step. Again, BuildCon is launching your very first product, but this is especially if we're thinking about going into the holiday season and Black Friday, this could be something to really think about at the end of September going into October. So these are some of the tools that I use: Descript, Lovable, Replit, and as a sneak peek, this is what we're going to show, just an example of one of my best selling products that I've ever had. It's just a Notion template. It's a Notion doc. It's all of my notes, by the way. Shout out to Justin. I did not name it, but he's like, you should just have a product called Docs Docs. And that's what I did. And that's what we sold. And so this is all of my notes of when I'm learning something, people just buy it. And then I just continually update on the subjects and everything like that. So that's what we're going to be looking at, especially going into tomorrow and into your homework. It does not have to be complicated. You could literally be selling a resource of all of your knowledge or expertise. And then also we'll talk about if you're trying to create a micro app or creating your own GPT. We'll look at that as well. So let's go back and again look at what's next. Make sure everyone has the links, and then we'll make sure we'll close this out and with Poly Innovator, making sure that we have everything that we have in place. So let me share my screen real quick, and then we'll go. Okay, so remember, um, what we already looked at our one problem solution, what we are able to do today. Next, we're going to be looking at your homework assignments. You're going to be able to tell your origin story, write down who you save or who you're helping, record it, and send it to two people. So if you want to create a video, please let us know and put it in the community, or even like Dustin was talking about, write it out. If you like writing, write a blog post, write something out right there, and you can have it. And yes, you can put that in your channel. That's perfect too. And then also to share your story in the community. I just dropped the link in the chat below wherever you're watching. You can connect with others and your weekend lab partners in the community. So make sure this community this weekend is free for everyone to take note and to connect with people. So make sure that you do that. Remember, this is day one of 3 days of BuildCon. Like we just keep adding more and more. BuildCon used to be one day, and then we're adding so many different activities. We have so many guests and great people. We want to expand it. So we just finished day one, identifying your one problem and who you save. Tomorrow, we'll talk about the extract and structure, how you package your knowledge. And then day 3, validate and celebrate. We'll talk about your first sale using this product. So tomorrow, we go into building, we get started, and remember, relax, get a drink, and start building. This is going to be great. So, Dustin, before we get out of here, anything you want to say or anything where the good people should find you?
So I posted my Substack on the chat here a little while ago, in case you're curious about the content creation strategy and overall equation that I talked about earlier. But I also talk about a lot of tools on there. But more importantly, here for those listening in, obviously you need to focus on the core product right now. You're spending this first weekend, even the second weekend, really kind of building that out. And that is obviously your priority. But you should start thinking about what sort of content you want to make around it. Look at some of your competitors in the space, maybe too, and see what they're doing and find out what are the topics that they're missing or what topics did really well for them that you can then tweak for yourself, and just kind of see what sort of ideas, if you don't already have a ton already, that you could make when it comes to your content creation. I would pick one type. Written audio video doesn't matter as long as you just do enough posts of it, and then try to focus on marketing your product through that content. Don't be too pushy, but obviously be like, hey, go check it out.
I love it. I love it. As we're finishing up, and this is great, and Erica, I'll message you to see if you'll be ready for the hot seat tomorrow. But she said, thanks, Doc. What I'm hoping to take away from 2025 BuildCon is knowledge/tools that I can use in my business. What I'm currently working on is finding paying members for my community. That's wonderful. We can definitely do that. So please let us know if we can connect. We can have you featured for tomorrow, and we kind of walk through this next section as we get started. And everyone, remember, if you want the replay, the slides, all of the different prompts that we used for ChatGPT today, make sure that you join the community. It's free this weekend, and you'll have access to all of that and be able to connect with great people like Poly Innovator and others right there. So again, thank you everybody. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of BuildCon 2025. Good night, everybody.